Hey guys, I am genuinely late. Took a little bit longer than I would have liked to set things up. Without further ado, what's up? My cat is on the bed behind me. You can see her lying down there. In fact, she has a direct line of eyesight to the camera. Hello. She's not used to me talking in this tone. Um, Anywho, we're gonna go back into Pokemon Emeralds 8. That's a really small window. It's also entirely obscured by my webcam. Alright. There we go. Last I left off, we were just chilling in the ocean at some random juncture. And in a few minutes, I will have to go downstairs. I got Shake Shack yesterday. And I actually did get a shake, but I decided I didn't want to have it right then and there because that would kill me if I had a shake and a Shake Shack burger. So I saved it for this stream today, so I could have a little bit of sugar rush while I'm doing this. Give me some much needed energy, I think, after I got my COVID shot a couple days ago. That's why I didn't stream on Friday. But I am gonna also need that energy for other reasons. A lot of what we're covering, or what I'm here talking about today, is has to do with Israel and Palestine, and none of it's really good. None of it is especially good. In fact, there's a lot of details. There's a lot of things have happened in the past 3 or 4 days. But it's going to take me a little bit to get into that. I could start and then go downstairs and check. I put my milkshake in the freezer, and then realized I would have to thaw it out, so I ran some hot water and filled up a bowl with it, and then put the shake in the bowl. It's not quite there yet, but I'll check in a little bit to see if I can get my delicious dessert. Where would I start? Where would I start? And my cat's sitting on the chair over there, looking out the window. So, I guess I'll start with the death toll. Okay. The death toll in Gaza, it seems, has topped 7,000. That's just confirmed deaths. Here, hold on. Gaza death toll. Oh, 8,000 now. Wonderful. I'm going to be referring to the Associated Press quite a bit here, because recently something happened where, funnily enough, so actually maybe I'll start with this. So Israel had cut contact to Gaza. Apparently I saw some live news updates from Associated Press that the internet is actually back now. Here we go. Oh no, it was from Al Jazeera. Telecommunications are gradually being restored in the Gaza Strip after a communications blackout cut the enclave off from the rest of the world. That was the only connection that Gaza had to the outside world, was that internet access, and then Israel decided to take that away. However brief of a time period it was, it obscured things to a very worrying extent. Regardless, it is back. And I saw recently, let's see, where was it? Damn it, did I just forget what I was going to talk about? I did, didn't I? Damn it, it had something to do with the communications blackout. Oh yeah, the confirmed death toll is 8,000, right? But that number is kind of misleading because it's confirmed deaths. The word confirmed does a lot of heavy lifting there. So the state of information flow in Gaza is extraordinarily poor, just like a lot of the people that live there as a product of Israeli occupation. And a lot of people could be accurately described in the Gaza Strip as stateless. Now, in the sense of a nomadic existence, sometimes being stateless would be quite nice. You know, if you're living on the Central Asian steppe or in the United States, you live a quasi-nomadic lifestyle as a indigenous individual. That's one thing. However, this is not the kind of stateless that anybody would think to be in a somewhat rosy fashion. This is stateless in the truest, most bare bones sense of the term. People in Gaza do not have any government identifiers to their name. They officially, like, on paper, these people don't exist. Like, they have no paper trail attached to them. It is extremely difficult to, basically to conduct things like ordinary censuses, and if something were to happen, to record down who all it happened to. It's kind of like, you know, when the earthquake happened in Morocco, it would be, comparable to, or potentially even worse than, the indigenous villagers living in the mountainside that were hit hardest by the earthquake. But here, the earthquakes are man-made by explosives, and Israel is personally delivering them intentionally. So, while the official number may be 8,000, that's just what we know right now. The situation on the ground is almost certainly much, much worse. And it seems that Western governments have, in spite of mounting public outcry, have maintained their support for the state of Israel in its effort to, well, completely eradicate the Palestinian people from the Gaza Strip. You know, it's just a heinous thing. You know, I would say, if you ask me, but I mean, if you're on the stream, then you're here to hear what I have to say. So I guess the turn of phrase would be a little bit redundant there. I feel like there's a trainer on this route that I haven't fought yet. Israel got wrecked and suspended the ground invasion. Now plan on sitting outside and bombing from afar like cowards. Yeah, I heard that the initial the initial phase of the invasion didn't go, like, amazingly for Israel, but they are now, I think I saw from Associated Press, yeah, the ground invasion is continuing, and they have been doing on the ground raids. Let's see, is this the this is the live updates, right? Yeah, this is the Associated Press live updates page. Basically, so this is no longer a question about Hamas. It really never was, even to begin with, but Hamas is, like, at this point, no longer even a relevant part of the discussion. They've been growing increasingly desperate, as have most Palestinians. They've been desperately trying to reach out to governments to confirm these hostages are alive. You don't need to come and invade. We will release them willingly. Please just stop. And it seems that the ground invasion from Israel is going to be I don't know if blitzkrieg would be an accurate term, but mostly just push everybody out. That seems to be the Israel government objective at this point. Some state ministries have even confirmed that is what Israel intends to do, is just displace all 2.4 million people that live in the Gaza Strip and replace them with Israeli settlers. So I think from what I saw on Twitter accounts that were sympathetic to Hamas, 34 plus tanks destroyed, Israel unable to defeat militiamen. Yeah, that's what I was gonna get to, is that Hamas Hamas is now fighting a battle of survival for them and everybody they know. On paper, they are still a militant, like, Islamist group, but at this point, I don't think it actually matters. What matters is there are a group of Palestinians that have guns, right? And there are many Palestinians that do not have guns. And there are a lot of Israelis that want to kill all of those Palestinians, regardless of whether they have guns or not. Even better if they don't have guns, because they can't fight back. $50 IED versus $50 million tank. Tanks lose. Yeah, that's right. Unless that tank is a Abrams, maybe. But even then, yeah, it's much easier to do defense the way Hamas is doing and the way any existing Palestinian militias would be doing than it is to invade like Israel is doing. Hamas and any Palestinian fighters in Gaza are going to fight to the last man because they know that they're going to die either way. That is Israel's intention. It has been from the start of the existence of the State of Israel. They are now just operating with the more or less candid blessing of the Western world, the Western governments, I should say, to just do that, to just kill all of them. This is going to be a bloodbath. Even if Israel wins, which I believe that they probably will. I mean, look, you know, Hamas can do a lot of damage on defense. Any militia group with, you know, like you were saying, $50 IEDs can do a lot of damage to a modern military, but it's not going to be enough. Israel has 350,000 reservists already called up. And, you know, if you introduce two $50 million tanks versus one $50 IED, sure, that might damage one of them, but there's still another one. The resources that Israel has at its disposal are so overwhelming that all of the defensive advantages in the world that Palestine does have, and Hamas has and enjoys in this conflict, it's only going to buy precious little time. Because Israel has made it very clear that their objective is not like some sort of lofty, you know, I mean, they've tried to LARP as the like anti-terrorist government in the past, but they've made it pretty clear that their goal is just to kill as many Palestinians as they can find. And I have no doubt that they are going to do and have been doing a sort of shoot on sight engagement policy, where just if they see a Palestinian, they shoot them. The tunnels are impossible to take without devastating casualties. Hamas is strong AF on defense. Yeah, I know, and that's what I'm saying, is that, like, Israel is going to take a lot of losses. Any invading army will. But Israel is eventually going to emerge victorious from this. Hamas literally does not have the resources. You can build the best and most expertly engineered tunnels in the world, and I don't doubt that Hamas has some damn good tunnels and tunnel building skills. But at the end of the day, all Israel needs to do is blow up the tunnels with all of the infinite amount of bombs that they have. Israel functionally has infinite resources, which can overcome the advantage of time, desperation, and a block-by-block defense. Eventually. Like I said, this is going to be a fucking bloodbath. There are enough bunker busters in the world? Yes, there are. Believe me, there are. Israel is a nuclear power. They have a few nuclear weapons. If it really came down to it, Israel might be willing to just nuke Gaza, and you can believe that it would be over at that point. In fact, the amount of munitions they've dropped already is greater than the force of the nuclear bomb that the United States used on Hiroshima. They can't nuke Gaza. Fallout would affect Israel. I know that. What I'm trying to get at is that, like, Israel functionally has unlimited bombs. They've already leveled 42% of the residential buildings in Gaza. That's a not insignificant percentage of the entire strip. If it really came down to it, if Israel wanted so bad to kill every single Palestinian in the strip, they could just bomb them into oblivion. They have enough bombs to do that, and they would be able to root out the tunnels as well eventually. The U.S. is already running out of munitions. Ukraine took the stockpiles already. The U.S. will never run out of munitions. We are the global hegemon. We have technology that makes the world look fucking primitive by comparison, and that's 30 years behind. All of the modern shit that we have, all of the current day manufacturing that the US does, is hidden in a bunker so secure that I wouldn't be able to find out it exists if I worked at the fucking Pentagon. That's the kind of military power that the United States is dealing with. That's what you get when most of your discretionary budget, or like a not insignificant portion of your discretionary budget, goes entirely to military funding. Not so productive anymore? No. The United States is as productive as it's ever been. The only difference is that we have outsourced production to other countries. We get our arms from other countries that are willing to sell arms to us, and from probably extraordinarily confidential contracts for people to manufacture arms specifically for the United States. There is no military in the world that could overcome the United States, offense or defense. No matter how well planned that defense is, what I'm trying to get at here is that this is a losing battle. 10K screws are not so useful. Promise me when I say that the United States does not use screws that cost $10,000. We find a way to manufacture them for probably 2 to 3 times the price of a regular old screw, but that can withstand 10,000 times the pressure. So the United States does have screws that if you got a hold of one of them, you might be able to sell it on eBay for $10,000, but I promise you the United States does not spend that much on manufacturing every individual screw. It's hard for me to even hyperbolize how much of a gap there is between the technology in the military that is available to the United States versus the technology available to every other country in the world. The reason the United States doesn't do military domination is because that's not the easiest or most effective form of domination. I'm saying I disagree. Israel's canceled the invasion, is talking about limited raids because they're unable to take the ground in Gaza. And I'm saying that you're just wrong. There's no disagreeing with my position. It's a fact of the world that the United States has the single most advanced military in the world, and that no single actor, government or otherwise, could even come close. Israel is getting cold feet because any of the paper tiger. Dude, you want to talk about paper tigers? Look at Russia. The United States is the fucking opposite of a paper tiger right now. The only difference is that in Israel, there might not be the appetite for this invasion because, I don't know, a single Israeli got hurt and they value that one Israeli's toe over like most of the Palestinians. The USA got wrecked in Iraq and Afghanistan? Yeah, because that fucking bucked the rules of conventional warfare. If the US wanted, we could nuke Iraq and Afghanistan to the ground. Like, we have enough, even just non-nuclear munitions, could have just leveled the whole country. It was a matter of holding the occupied territory where the United States had to continue investing money and money and money. Hamas isn't playing by the rules of conventional warfare. I know that. But here's the thing. Israel is so unhinged, so insane, they make the US in Iraq and Afghanistan look restrained by comparison. And I'm even talking about the same US that did the Highway of Death back in the day, that bombed thousands of civilians trying to evacuate. That US is still less insane than Israel. The US in Iraq and Afghanistan was trying to exercise some degree of restraint. It was like, well, we can't just kill every civilian. We can only kill the ones that have guns. The problem is we kept creating the ones that had guns. The United States was trying to engage in a project that required something other than pure military might. And that's why the US fucked up. Is because we tried to do imperialism without just killing everybody, which would have been horrifying to the nth degree. Right? Let me put it another way. You've heard of the Hubble telescope, right? Everybody's favorite telescope growing up, mine included. And it's been known for such amazing photographs as like the Hubble Deep Field. I think there's an even deeper field within the Hubble Deep Field, photographing things that are up to almost 14 billion light years away. With enough shape still to discern that they are some kind of object and not just a white blurb. Truly incredible stuff. Very advanced technology. Here's the problem. That telescope was built in the early 1970s. And in the early 1970s, it was already out of date. All of the, incredible deep space research that has come out of the last 50 years almost has been at the benefit of technology that is so old that it was military surplus in the 1970s. In 1974, the Hubble telescope was already made of 30-year-old parts. That's the kind of stuff that the United States had in 1944, not in 1974. It's been 50 years since then. Imagine what the United States has now. James Webb. James Webb is the most recent telescope. And that shows up the Hubble telescope, runs circles around it. That was an Army surplus job when it was beginning construction in 1990. That stuff is from 1960. The United States has, like, almost, like, untouchable military tech at our disposal. The only problem is like sheer number of people able to use that, and I promise you there are not enough Hamas militants to stand up to 350,000 Israeli reservists, all equipped with state-of-the-art military tech. And by state-of-the-art, I mean stuff that was state-of-the-art in 1990, as opposed to the James Webb telescope, which is considered state-of-the-art in the sciences, but was made of stuff that was considered military state-of-the-art in 1960. There's a 100-year technological gap between Hamas and Israel. Israel's already on the back foot. They've been forced out of Gaza again. Hamas will be victorious. Bullshit. Nobody's going to be victorious in this situation, except for probably Israel if they push hard enough, right? And look, I'm not saying that I actually want Israel to win here. This is a bad thing. But what I'm trying to get at is that, like, there's no way out here. This is it. It's so much of a mismatch. Like, I'm sorry to say, but you have to be deluded to think that Hamas has any sort of chance in the long run against the fucking Israeli military and all the money it gets and all the arms it gets from the West. Where's the live updates about the ground invasion? It said ground forces killed a number of Hamas militants as they exited one of their extensive network of Gaza tunnels near the Erez crossing, which had been the sole pedestrian passageway into Israel before it was destroyed in the fighting, which means that Israel bombed it. I saw another news article that mentioned that Israel had bombed that passageway basically into nothing. As weird as it is to say, because both sides of this are Hitler. Hamas is Hitler, Israel is Hitler, civilians are not. Hamas is actually less insane than Israel in this moment, right? Because of how few resources they have. Israel might be willing to actually just bomb the shit out of Gaza even more than they have been if they get any more indication that the West will let them get away with it. And the West so far has just been like, yeah, sure, go ahead. You know, Western governments have been really, really unwilling to say anything negative about Israel, including the United States. Hamas is not Hitler, the Jews of Warsaw Ghetto, but with 18 years of buildup. Nah, Hamas is also Hitler. You have to be blind to not see any of the rampant anti-Semitism that comes from Hamas. I remember, like, when this conflict was not yet at this stage, Hamas's aims, don't get me wrong, are to kill all the Jews. That's what Hamas actually wants here. And that's exactly why Israel spent so much money funding them, because they needed an easy bad guy so they could have an excuse to kill more Palestinians. Before Hamas, there were actually better actors in play. The PLO, the PFLP, the DFLP, right? Actual organizations that cared about the liberation of Palestine. Hamas is functionally just an Islamist government in exile, except there's no state for it to have been exiled from. Descendant of Jewish victims of the Holocaust, I'm not going to condemn Palestinians' resistance just because they want the Zionists out of Palestine. I'm not either. I'm not condemning Palestinian resistance. In fact, like, my critical support actually goes to certain, like, Hamas militants in this moment, because fucking what other choice do they have, right? But I'm not going to delude myself into thinking that Hamas is in any way an anti-imperialist organization here, right? I reserve that for the PLO and the DFLP and the PFLP, whoever else is active in the region. You know, the Palestinian anarchists. You know, this is just campism. PLO are collaborators, contractors for Israeli occupation. No, they're not. You know who our collaborators are? Hamas. Jesus Christ. I've been getting all that money from Israel since the 2000s. Hamas, okay, here's the thing, right? Hamas had almost zero presence before Israel decided to give them a fuck ton of money. You know who it was before Hamas? It was the PLO. The PLO was popular enough to assume certain, like, on-paper government positions in Palestine, which means in some capacity they had to, like, occupy a more diplomatic role. Right? I have no doubt that if Hamas didn't exist, they would be sort of like the IRA, the Irish Republican Army, where they would have the political party and also the militants that are fighting out in the street. The difference is Israel made every effort to muscle the PLO out because they knew that PLO gave a good name to Palestinians, and Hamas, to the average Westerner, makes Palestinians look bad. So they pumped all the money they could into Hamas to make it basically the sole force of opposition in the Gaza Strip. It's not exactly controlled opposition because, I mean, like, to be controlled opposition, Israel has to be, like, directly telling you what to do, which Israel doesn't. But it is a form of, like, managed opposition where they only exist at the benefit of Israel and they primarily serve to benefit Israel. You know, Israel is like fucking Palpatine in this situation. Like, Hamas might be Hitler, but they're Hitler out of power. Israel right now is like Palpatine. They have their fingers in all the pies right now. They're pulling all the strings, you know, for anybody that has any, like, lever of influence on the ground in the conflict right now. They're control of Palestinian Bantustans in the West Bank, and they don't do shit for Palestinians. They repress their own people on behalf of the occupiers. They don't have enough power to do that. Israel is the only repressor here. Like, repressing them how? What are they doing to, repress people? What fucking power does the PLO have, does the Palestinian Authority have, to do anything within the borders of Palestine? It's all under the control of Israel. Jeez, man. Fucking, I'm getting distracted. There were some things that I actually wanted to talk about here. Oh, oops. I didn't mean to pin that. I'm sorry. I meant to click on just the chat box so I could see things. Unpin. Thank you. Very obvious that they are occupiers. Dude, unironically, by saying any of this is the fault of the PLO, you are offloading responsibility from Israel to the PLO. Everything bad that has happened in Palestine since 1947 basically is the fault of Israel and nobody else. Well, except for the West. The West bears some responsibility too because the UN created the State of Israel. Yeah. Like I said, the PLO has fucking zero power. Dude, there was a representative of the PLO, I'm sure you saw this, that went on interviews to try to appeal to the international community to get some, like, humanitarian aid for Palestine. What's up, 1v3? Welcome to chat. And literally the only thing that Western anchors wanted to ask him was, do you condemn Hamas? Do you condemn Hamas? Do you condemn Hamas? Even when he said, dude, 6 of my family members have been killed, they're like, wow, that's crazy. We don't care. Do you condemn Hamas? What the fuck kind of power or responsibility do the PLO have in this situation? They don't have any resources with which to act. They can't possibly have the responsibility to do anything because in order to have the responsibility to do something, you have to have the power to do something, which the PLO doesn't. Israel, though, does. Like you mentioned, they have $50 million tanks. They have all sorts of artillery shells and rockets and munitions. They have the Iron Dome. They have hundreds of thousands of reservists. They have a proper modern military that they're prepared to use to kill every Palestinian they see. What the fuck is anybody supposed to do in the face of that? Buy time. And that's what I'm getting at. That's all you can do in this scenario. When the whole rest of the world, at least the developed world here, seems like they're just complicit to let Palestinians die in droves, all you can do is try to buy time in the hope that maybe something will happen. Even an organization as like in other circumstances as dastardly as Hamas recognizes that, and that's all they're trying to do here, because that's all they can do. The PLO, having like, I think, ceased a lot of their functions as like an active militant group, are powerless to do anything because they don't enjoy like the recognition of any major developed country in the world. You know, not to an appreciable extent that they would actually be given a seat at any negotiating table. Sure, they'll have the support of some countries in the eastern part of things. Like, you know, I know Russia has been at least somewhat amicable to the concept of there being a two-state solution in Palestine and whatnot, but like they're tied up in Ukraine right now. They're doing all the war crimes they can get their hands on. Well, actually, not all the war crimes they can get their hands on, as we've seen by Israel. It's possible to do much worse than what Russia is doing. You see what I'm getting at? You are attributing a significant degree more authority, power, and influence to the PLO than they actually have. What is this? I don't know what FP is. I don't have any context for this. I don't know what this news site is. Oh, dude, this is a fucking Russian news outlet. I don't know this news source. I've literally never seen this news source before. I'm not gonna bother with that right now. It's American? No, it's not. I promise you it is not. I googled it, the first thing that came up was Russian. So no. It's probably written for an American audience, but I guarantee you that is not an American news outlet. It'd be like saying RT America is American. It's like, yes, but also no. Fuck, man. Sorry, I don't mean to... I don't want to come off so confrontational against you in particular, because I know from interacting with you in the past that, like, clearly we both want broadly the same thing here, which is Palestine ought to be free. All of the Palestinians deserve to have all that land back, right? But also Israelis who've been living there for like generations and whatever, and that's the only home they've ever known, also don't deserve to have their life upended and whatever. And then, you know, you hash it out from there. Israel is bad. You know, we agree on that, I'm sure. But like the disinformation really gets me sometimes. The misinformation in this case. Like, I know that in scenarios like this, nobody should be out there just unsolicitedly condemning Hamas, right? Like, that's a stupid thing to do. That's the wrong thing to center the conversation around, because all of the fault is on Israel. But like, we have to both understand, due to the powerless circumstance that Palestine is in right now, there's barely even a Palestine apart from territory that's occupied by Israel and isn't given any like rights or representation in the Israeli government, right? They functionally don't have a state. That's what I meant by stateless. These people aren't recorded anywhere. They don't have any presence in like any social safety net, any bureaucratic infrastructure. Like, you know, I, as an American, I have a social security number, I have a debit card. There are numbers and words on paper in government archives that confirm that I exist and am eligible to receive certain services and certain benefits. None of that exists for people in Palestine. A lot of them don't even have birth certificates. That is how little authority and influence the PLO has in a scenario like this. Because the PLO, or I guess the Palestinian Authority, whoever it is, should be functioning under ideal circumstances where Israel is not a fucking monster, as like a government that is capable of providing certain services for people, that is capable of like distributing wealth and resources. But in order to do that, you have to have resources and wealth to distribute, and Israel has fucking taken all of that. They're actively rerouting stuff like water and concrete. You have to have like the resources with which to start documenting things in order to even perform any essential government function. The PLO can't do that. They don't have anything. They have what? They have people. That's it. For the love of fuck, they don't even have concrete. You have any idea how many fucking buildings need to be made with concrete? Palestine doesn't even have concrete because Israel keeps taking it. That is just how little power the PLO has, how little agency the PLO has to do anything. And given like the tiny grain of sand that they have to go on TV somewhere and to try to say, look, please, we're human too. We need due consideration. I'm hard pressed to criticize any move that the PLO has made in the past 10 to 20 years because they have so little. And the fact that they're trying to do anything with it at all is indication that they still care. I'm not interested, quite frankly, in condemning them for not doing what I personally would have done with that grain of sand, right? And certainly that grain of sand is not enough to take on the fucking, by comparison, giant looming cliffs that Israel has at its disposal to fuck, I don't know, deprive hospitals of electricity to maintain the baby incubators or whatever they do. Yeah. I think I'm done. I think I'm done there. You know, part of me really didn't even want to talk about this because, like, what else do I even say? I mean, clearly I had a lot to say just then about, like, the degree of powerlessness at the, you know, hands of Palestine versus Israel. And, like, what does Hamas have? IEDs, rocket launchers? Like, that's good, but it's only going to work for so long. Jesus. Where is, what else was I going to mention? Oh, yeah. On the same subject, I think I'd like to move to something else. Did you know that Israel is bad and also cringe and mega Hitler, Hitler 2 even, yeah, Zionist edition. So usually I'm sort of skeptical of most news outlets that are based in Israel, just because of like the biases that come with, well, being Israeli, right? Like even the more left-leaning news outlets there in the past have been relatively cozy to the Israeli like military-industrial complex, the IDF, etc., etc. They haven't been great, but I think that I have reason enough to believe, not to believe per se, but like to go through with this news coverage. Haaretz is a left-leaning journal as far as Israel is concerned. Anyways, I can't read Hebrew. I will have to translate some things. So, quote, death to Arabs, unquote. Students evacuated from dorms after hundreds of rioters attempted break-in. This is what's going on in Israel right now. There are, well, Israeli students that are getting their panties up in a knot over the fact that Arabs exist, apparently. Videos showed a crowd gathered outside the school building attempting to break down the gates and forcibly enter, claiming that the Arab Israeli students inside had disrupted their Shabbat prayer. This is today. Today's Sunday. They don't do Shabbat on Sunday. Okay, two possibilities here. One, I'm missing something about Judaism, and like maybe there is Shabbat on Sundays. I don't know. Or option number two, which is also possible, is that these students are full of shit and like making that stuff up, because I've heard before that Shabbat is Saturday, or like the day of prayer. You know, when everybody goes to the house of worship to do whatever. I know for Muslims it's Friday, and then for Christians it's Sunday, and for Jews it's Saturday. That's like the one day of the week. regardless, whatever the case is, this is very obviously just being used as an excuse for Israeli university students to go and, like, fucking, well, do unspeakable things, I guess. I was gonna say, you know, I don't know whether I want to say unalive or, like, beat up or whatever, but yeah, just unspeakable things to Palestinian Arab students, or even, not even just Palestinian Arabs, just Arab students. Arab Israeli students had to be rescued from their college dormitory in the central city of Netanya Saturday night after a crowd of hundreds of Jewish Israelis, this outlet just says Jews, gathered outside claiming that they disrupted Shabbat prayer in a nearby synagogue. Videos of the riot showed the angry crowd storming the campus, waving Israeli flags, chanting death to Arabs, and attempting to break down the gates. The rioting crowd even attempted to break in and remove them forcibly. Well, shit. We have a Twitter video. I'm not going to watch that because it might contain some TOS material. Might be some sensitive stuff there. Let me read on. After students were safely removed by police and local volunteers, there were finger-pointing over where blame lay for the crash, which Arab civil society organizations called reckless incitement and a lynching. I'm inclined to believe the Arab civil service societies here. I don't think this could have reasonably been anything else. This is clearly the product of ethnic vitriol and not much else. A statement by Netanya Academic College, where the Arab students were enrolled, said that residents of the city's Kiryat Sharon neighborhood, residents of the neighborhood residents, yes, okay, very good, had charged in social media posts that the students had thrown eggs and deliberately played loud music while congregants were praying at a Chabad synagogue adjacent to their building. Even if that's true, that's so fucking mild. Like, oh no, they threw eggs. Like, that's bad and all. Like, in you know, in the United States and in a lot of countries, that would be considered a hate crime, and, you know, sure, that's like, that could be motivated by racial hatred or ethnic hatred, religious hatred, whatever, right? But, like, throwing eggs and playing loud music is relatively benign, I guess, as far as that goes. And then the response from the synagogue goers, I guess, was just, that's it, we're going to kill all of you. Which is no. That's a disproportionate response. You can't do that. Well, I guess if you're Israeli, you can, because Israel has the fucking infinite grace of every Western country on the planet. Yeah. The college's statement confirmed that in the morning, 2 eggs were thrown at worshippers leaving the synagogue located next to the student dormitories. Oh boy, 2 eggs. I mean, that's bad still. You can get hurt by a flying egg, but, like, don't let that detract from the fact that this later resulted in a crowd of fucking hundreds of people trying to go and pry Arab Israeli students out of their dormitories, most of whom I'm almost certain had nothing to do with this, and you know, do unspeakable things to them. Police were called to the scene and handled the situation. Okay, so it was resolved. There you go. No need for all that stuff. In the evening, angry calls circulated on social media to protest the students who they accused of hanging Palestinian flags and playing loud music, allegations that were investigated and ruled out by police. Wow, so not only is this actually not even a bad thing, like that's a perfectly valid form of protest, being loud and flying a flag, that's pretty non-offensive. The police also say, yeah, that didn't even happen. Just fucking looking for excuses. These people are rabid. How I would describe them, I guess. Be immediately suspended from... Okay, this is police people saying that, like, oh, if you support terrorism, then we will immediately suspend you from your studies. I assume that's pretty standard for Israel and whatever. That sucks, and it's bad, and it's fucking stupid, but a lot of Western countries do that, I think. Or maybe they don't, and Israel is also uniquely bad in this category, which... that wouldn't surprise me that much either. The Netanya mayor called for a full investigation of the incident and ordered the college to vacate its dormitories. The mayor's even in support of this angry riot crowd here. Uh, hmm. Let's see if there's any more to this that demands my attention. If not, I'm actually going to go downstairs and check to see if my milkshake has thawed yet. I think I need that at this juncture. Well, not allow any riots and disorder. Yeah, typical police messaging, whatever. Fierberg said that after the dormitories were vacated, she would use them to house evacuees from the south. Oh, great. Doing the same fucking colonialism to Israeli universities that they do to Gaza. Yeah, we're going to evacuate, quote unquote, all the Arab students. And then people who were living in the south, presumably Jewish Israelis, can come up and then they can live in the dorms instead. Time-honored Israeli tradition of kicking Arabs out of their lodgings and houses. Fucking disgusting, really. Zionists being misanthropic, as usual, I think. Students being bloodthirsty, and then... yeah, that's it. Okay, so average hate crime. I'm assuming that there are more incidents like this occurring across Israel where crowds, big or small, of Jewish Israelis are accosting and threatening and attempting to kill or wound Arab Israelis because they know they can get away with it and that the state isn't going to be too... The state definitely isn't going to be very harsh on them. And then, the Western world has no interest in reigning in the state. So all indications are they can just have their genocide and eat it too. I actually don't know where to go in Pokemon Emerald at this stage. Do I have the HM for Dive? I don't. Where do I get Dive? Oh, okay, I have to go to Steven's house. I understand. I'm gonna get the HM Dive, and then I'm gonna put up the, BRB screen, and then I will, go try to... I'll go see if the milkshake has thawed enough for me to start drinking it and stuff. Yay, HM Dive. Okay. How do I square this? You know what? I don't think I need Fake Out. It's been nice to have. It's been useful. But I think I just need to have an HM here. Also, Dive is only 60 power. It's kind of odd. Oh, right, because Dig is also only 60 power in this generation. I forgot. Okay. Save the game. And then I'm gonna do a little bit of this. Enjoy the Pokemon Emerald music. I'll be back. I've returned. And I have a milkshake. Huh. Don't need that anymore, because I'm back. Haha. What was I gonna... What was I gonna mention? Oh, yeah. The, you know, I mentioned that Israel basically has the blessing of the West now. Like, a lot of what Israel did in the early days of the invasion, and what they've been doing for a long time, as they've pushed out Palestinians ever further to the fringes, is they've been, like, they've been putting up the veneer of, like, caring about civilian casualties to sort of have enough optical plausible deniability for the West to still support them, because if they just went full mask off right away, Western countries would be like, whoa, that's a really bad look, and they'd back off. Of course, we know that a lot of times countries don't actually care that much about civilian casualties, but they do care about optics. So they have to sort of play that game. Recently, Israel stopped putting up as much of the mask. That, like, more and more they've been letting the mask slip to sort of test the waters. And I'm sure people have noticed from, like, official Israeli Twitter accounts, like government ministry Twitter accounts, they've been, like, saying that Palestinians are subhuman or whatever. And if anything, I think that would be like what would spur Western countries to be like, all right, you need to cool it off, you need to calm down. But apparently not. Apparently that is actually not enough for Western countries to, like, to rescind their support in any appreciable fashion. They've sort of been pushing their finger further and further and further. And the U.S. and co have still been saying, like, yep, we remain resolute in our support for Israel. We still support them, and all that. And so Israel has taken that as well. Well, I guess we can just get away with shit. We can just keep doing this. We can just keep killing civilians and keep, like, pushing people out of their homes and whatnot, right? And I mean, they can. Like, Western countries are just gonna let them. Ah. Yay, a Waterstone. You can finally evolve Lombre. After entirely too long. He is now a big Mexican stereotype, as opposed to a smaller, medium-sized Mexican stereotype. I reiterate something that I said on another stream. This is because Japanese people are racist. Hmm. Where are... I'm actually curious now how the ground invasion has been progressing. like how exactly it's been progressing. Cut off from the world. Aid trucks really haven't been making it through. Palestinians are not getting any appreciable amount of aid right now. More than 1.4 million people across Gaza have fled their homes. Fucking hell. Excuse me. God damn it. Um... Hmm. You know what? This is a bit bad form, but I'm actually gonna look at another live stream covering this. I'm not super good at like finding news coverage on the fly, so I want to see like how. Hold on. Give me 1 second. Seems like nothing yet. Nothing worth noting, anyway. Yeah, okay. I'll check back on that later. I'm... Yeah. Expands Gaza ground incursions. Okay. Fighting on... Ah, here we go. Okay, Al Jazeera. Nice. I actually wanted to, Oh, yes, I remember what I was going to mention. What indication I had that the West is just going to let Israel get away with everything. Recently, after communications were cut to Palestine by Israel, what ended up happening, right, was that was that journalists started dropping like flies. This is part of the playbook of genocide. One of the things that you want to do as a country that is committing genocide, you want to kill all the journalists. You want to make sure that there are no witnesses, or as few witnesses as possible, to actually write down specifically what you did during the genocide, so you can evade any sort of accountability for your actions, right? So Israel had been already, like, various journalists and UN aid workers had been killed by Israel in Palestine, in the Gaza Strip. But now they like, the communications blackout enabled them to do all the more with those opportunities, and they've been killing journalists from like Reuters and Al Jazeera. I think a couple dozen journalists have lost their lives at this point. And even Israel actually threatened Al Jazeera. I remember reading about that. They threatened Al Jazeera to basically be more in line with the Israeli state narrative, which is fucked up. Really fucked up. And Reuters is an American news outlet. Like, you know, I think at this stage that, like, they really can't just get away with anything. Looking for this other room key. I don't think I've ever done this puzzle before. Room 2 key. Okay, where's room 2? It's down here, right? Scanner? Is that a key item? It is. Hmm. Fuck, man. I ain't gonna lie, I kind of don't want to talk about Palestine right now, because I don't have that much more to say. It's just, it's bad all around. It's an ongoing genocide at the hands of the Israeli government. The West seems to be supportive of it. There was a protest recently in London, actually, of people who support Palestine, and it was like apparently broke records for large protests in London, which is well, it's good to hear if you're anybody who has a conscience, because, you know, it's clear that the global public, as much as ever, you know, despite the short social memory that a lot of people have, people really care about this issue. You know, they care that there's a genocide ongoing in another part of the world, especially when it's, you know, when it's shown to them in all the major news outlets and whatever. But the general public and the governments that they live under are two very different things. And governments are not so willing to let something so silly as democracy get in the way of geopolitical interests and stuff like that. You know, just regular things. Stern's in Slateport, right? He's somewhere around here. Oh. Well, I don't really care. Sure, give me deep sea scale, I guess. I don't fucking know. Sure. Whatever. Well, now what I can do is actually go to Pseudopolis city. Or is it Sootopolis? I think it's Sootopolis, because it's a volcano. Soot comes out of a volcano, you know. Come on. That thing happened where it was like, there was a clump of ice cream that wasn't quite melted. So it's really hard to drink it through a straw. Anywho. Oops. Let's actually, I'm gonna put Sigma out front so I can have a flag on, hopefully. That'd be cool. Wait, do I have Rock Slide? I just realized, if I have Rock Slide, I could teach that. No, I don't. Rip. Reminded of why I have this paper towel, so I can wipe off the exterior of this cup. Alright, let's go down here. I guess now presents actually a good opportunity to talk about some more lighthearted stuff that happened over the past few days. I went and got my COVID shot on Thursday. So that was already, like, that was kind of a whole ordeal unto itself. Because a little while ago I got my flu shot. Because, you know, it's flu season. And CVS had a nifty feature where it's like, hey, you can schedule both your flu shot and your COVID shot at the same time. And I was like, oh, cool. That's nice. So I did that. And then I went up there and no indication beforehand, by the way. And they just said, like, oh, sorry, we don't have the COVID shots right now. And I was thinking in my head, then why did you let me schedule a COVID shot? Why didn't you say we don't have any? You know? So I was like, oh, okay. I'll just get the flu shot and schedule it for another time. And that's what I did. I scheduled it for, see, it would be Thursday of just this past week, so. I walked up to the pharmacy and got my COVID shot, again in my left arm. And that vaccine hit so much harder than the flu shot. Like, first, it felt like I had been lightly punched in the arm, and I was, like, a little bit short of breath. It felt like half of the first time that I got a COVID vaccine. Because I remember, I think I got the Johnson & Johnson one, which was, like, both doses in one shot. And that one made me feel like I'd been punched in the arm and had the wind knocked out of me. So this one was like that, but a little bit less. And then on the way back, walking back to the house, I guess I didn't realize how fast I was actually walking or how hard I was pushing myself because I pulled a muscle on the way back. I pulled a muscle in my leg. It was, I don't know if I could describe it as like in my flank, but it was either in my butt or like right below my butt. I pulled a muscle in my leg. And that made it like kind of uncomfortable to walk. For the next, well, it's still actually kind of uncomfortable right now. I can still feel it. Regardless, I was like, okay, so now I know the drill. I just got to stay hydrated and basically like take it easy for the rest of the day. But what I didn't realize is that shit would get a lot more uncomfortable. So that night, I actually couldn't sleep. I've been drinking hella water. I got so much more dehydrated so quickly. I've been having to, like, drink water nonstop. For not today, but, like, yesterday and the day before, for sure. And, when my bedtime came around, when I went to bed, I was like, okay, I'm gonna try to, I was like, I'm gonna sleep on my back, because I know that I shouldn't sleep on this arm. This is the arm where I got the shot. And funnily enough, I usually am a side sleeper, so I'll sleep on one side or the other. So I was like, okay, so sleeping on my back, or sleeping on my side, my right side, the arm where I didn't get the shot, that's fair game. But sleeping on my left side is no good. Little did I know, sleeping on my right side was not fair game either. And neither was sleeping on my back, quite frankly, because whatever position I tried to adjust myself to in bed, my leg would hurt. my right leg started hurting, and like aching and being sore and shit. And I was like, oh, this sucks. This is really not good. And so Thursday night, and also Friday night, I repeated the same thing. I didn't get a fucking wink of sleep. It was like, you know how when you're on a road trip or whatever, or you're on a train, you're in a car, and you're just sitting up, and you kind of fall asleep sitting up, and you can still kind of tell everything that's going on around you. You're just tired and your eyes are closed and you're like resting, but you're like not all the way asleep. That's basically how Thursday and Friday night went for me. And I was like, wow, that sucked. I ended up waking up quite a bit earlier than I ordinarily would on Friday morning, which was quite nice. I woke up at like 7 something in the morning. That was good. But then like my whole body was sore the whole day because last night I'd been tossing and turning, trying to not be sore, and that just made it worse. So I realized, alright, fuck, I'm gonna have to take painkillers. And so I took every, like, 6 hours, I think is what the instruction said. Every 6 hours I took a ibuprofen pill to try to numb the pain. And it did numb the pain a bit. You know, a Friday night going on to Saturday was somewhat the same as the night before. And I was like, wow, I forgot how potent that vaccine was. I forgot how much it, like, really knocked you out for a couple of days. But still vastly preferable to having coronavirus, as I can actually attest, because I suspect I've had it before, and it's not something I would I would risk having again, especially given that like long COVID is a thing. You can have very, very severe lasting consequences. Like Xanderhall, somebody that I know and respect very much. Well, actually, I don't know him personally, but know of and respect very much. He has long COVID, and like it's done a number on him. Every so often he'll bring it up, and it's been a good, I don't know, half a year since he was actually sick with coronavirus. I don't want that happening to me. And it's not like me being young and able-bodied would do anything, because he's also young and able-bodied. He's only a year older than me. But I got up this morning, actually felt a lot better. Like, way better. Although I think I'm still going to take it easy until tomorrow. Tomorrow we'll see if I'm in good enough shape to exercise. I probably will be. Try to not have the fucking vaccine knockout moment. I'm supposed to just go back here? I don't know what's going on. I fucking always have to look this up whenever it happens. Where? Okay, great. I don't actually know what I'm supposed to do here. Oh, okay, okay. I understand. There's a random fucking underwater cave that I have to go into. Somewhere here. Not right. Is it here? Maybe it's here. I think this is just Pseudopolis. Yeah, okay. Give me up. Anyways, that's all there really was to the story of me getting the COVID vaccine. It's just like basically the same thing as last time, but I actually had my bed this time, so I didn't have to sleep on the couch. that was somewhat of an improvement. You know. Ah, okay, this is probably more along the lines of where I'm supposed to be. Maybe over there. Another thing that happened, interestingly enough, I think this was even the same day as, no, it was a Friday, it was not Thursday. I stayed up late that night. I tend to stay up kind of late. Not late for somebody of my age, but like to around midnight. This was even like I stayed up till like 12:30, so later than I usually stay up. Later than I would have liked. I remember I was just chilling in my room, and then I heard like yowling outside. It was like, well, it was cats yowling and like being clearly very on edge and spooked and whatnot. And I was like, whoa, what the fuck is happening? And I went and looked out my window because I could hear it. It was just out there, and I saw my cat Squeaker. She's laying down restfully in my chair, which is very cute, I assure you. And another cat like standing off on the sidewalk in front of my house, with their backs arched and like looking at each other with the murder eyes. And I was like, whoa, what's going on there? And so I went outside, and actually like this cat had been like harassing my cat. It was somebody else's cat. It wasn't a stray. I could see it had well-groomed fur, and it was wearing a collar. But it looked, this cat was a little bit bigger, and it pretty clearly, it looked like Squeaker was on the defensive. It was like she clearly really didn't like the situation she was in, and like wanted to leave. So when I went out and like first I tried to play Peacemaker, where you know where you like you reach out your hand to the cat, try to get it to sniff you, and then you scratch it a little bit and be like, "See, I'm nice." But this other cat just wasn't fucking interested. It like looked at me and kind of approached, but then it would back off. And here's the fucking thing that actually made me super irritated with this cat. Every time I tried to like reach out and be like, "Hey," it would try to go around me and get back to my cat. It's like, what the fuck? Like, you... This isn't just some, like, oh, we're, like, a little bit territorial. This is, you actually want to hurt my cat? Like, is that what this is? I was like, fucking, okay. And so I just decided to, like, body block this cat. Every time it tried to, like, move past me. And I think it got like got a little bit irritated that I was doing that, and I even had to like yell at it, you know, just the quick like, hey, you know, because it tried to come into my yard, in front of my house, as Squeaker was like going back to the door and stuff. She spends a lot of time outside, but you know she wanted to come inside, and it seemed like that other cat was like prepared to basically follow her into our house. I was like, what the fuck are you doing? No. But the reason I actually bring that up, that, you know, under certain circumstances that might not be much of a story, but it's actually very rare that Squeaker has had such a bad interaction with another cat before. You know, there have been other cats in the neighborhood, even cats that Squeaker had like a negative relationship with, but it seemed very clearly just more like the cats kind of mutually didn't like each other all that much, but they understood that they were like hanging out outside and whatever. This one was more like this cat really wanted to contain my cat, and my cat was just like, the fuck are you doing? I'm just living here. You know, I enjoy the outdoors. Although again, it could just be a new like territorial thing. You know, even my other cat, Artemis, cat that I've had, or that I had when I was a little kid, like, she was hostile a little bit towards other, cats that we had, in our house, but I basically attributed that to her being, like, old and curmudgeonly, you know, because cats are sometimes, they can be like that. You know? And over time, she grew more accustomed to, Squeaker being there, before she eventually, passed away. It was just kind of bizarre. Anyways, now I have Flygon. Epic Pokemon. Sorry, I skipped over that evolution, the one I was anticipating the most. Jesus Christ, look at that attack stat. Let's fucking go. Actually, let me see. Oh, never mind. Never mind, Aggron actually has a higher attack stat. Fucking... whatever. Shattering my illusions of how cool Flygon is. But, I still really like it. I even prefer the design of Flygon to the design of Garchomp. Even though Garchomp is also very cool and is just literally a better Pokemon than Flygon. Like, if you look at its stats and stuff. What the fuck is going on here? Is this a goddamn Hall of Mirrors? I'm lost, dude. Alright, I'm going through this one this time. Alright, this is clearly where I'm supposed to go. Okay. I can safely push this one up here. Nice. How does the rest of this go? This seems like it's actually a proper puzzle. How the fuck? Well, I guess I could just do this. Okay, now I can go through any of these, either of these two entrances. What's through here? That. What's through here? Also that. Alright, let's go through this one first. Let's see what's going on. How do I... I want to get in there. Or do I? What is in here? How? Okay. This place is a goddamn hall of mirrors. This just keeps sending me back. Okay. So clearly I need to start here. Oops. Get that. Come on, yes? Yes! Let me go through this one. Okay, this is new. Okay, so you could do a mind-bending strength puzzle. Or you could have a fun double battle. I think I like my double battles. Frankly. Yes, surf is cool in this version. It's kind of weird that in one version of the game, in one version of Pokemon, surf hits both your opponents but not your teammate, and then the other versions it hits your teammate as well. I think ultimately the version where like every Pokemon on the field gets affected, including your teammates, that makes more sense, I guess, contextually, if they're just summoning a giant tsunami or whatever. But the inconsistency always gets me just a little bit. I'm like never quite sure. If I'm playing a Generation 3 game, I'm never quite sure if it's one or the other. Because I think in Fire Red and Leaf Green, it actually does hit your teammate. I think it's just in the Hoenn games that it doesn't. I don't know. Oh boy, more strength puzzle. Okay. I do this, and then this. Right? You do something like that. And then do this. Yeah, okay, cool. Epic strength puzzle. Seafloor Cavern, I'm in the fucking hazy maze cave portion of the cave now. That's the wrong game. Where's Earthquake? Here it is. I'm not even gonna wait for Flagon to learn Earthquake. I'm just gonna teach it to him right the fuck now. Forget Sand Tomb. That move is lame and dumb and stupid. Who else can... Blaziken can learn Earthquake. I don't know if I want that right now. Abby can learn Earthquake. I would rather it know something else, actually. Is there anything that I would replace here? Slash, maybe. Okay, wait. Let me do some type chart calculations in my brain. Fighting is good against steel, ice, rock, normal, and I think that's it. Something like that, right? There's 4 types. Blaze Kick is good against it's fire type. Good against grass, steel again, ice again, and that's it. Ground is good against fire type, rock again, steel again, electric, that's something. I'm trying to think. Does this cover anything that I'm weak to? Earthquake, where Slash like doesn't. I guess it's just it's stronger. That kind of matters. If I run into a Gyarados, I would probably be screwed. But I'm not going to send Blaziken out against a Gyarados anyway. So I guess Slash can get out of here. That's the one thing I can think of that really would not be covered by the combination of Rock Smash, like a fighting type move, a fire type move, and a ground type move. So, oh well. I guess 2 Pokemon having Earthquake is enough. And then you need to learn some better moves. Holy shit. You're level 44. When do you learn stuff? Let me look up Aggron's Pokedex page. God dang it. Moves learned. Generation 3. Emerald. You learn... Iron Tail is it? Really? That's it? And then Double Edge. What do you have? Sturdy. So not the cool one. Not cool Rockhead ability. Jeez, man. Alright, well I guess I'm just gonna teach it Iron Tail. If I can even find it. Here, hold on. Pokemon Emerald. Iron Tail TM. Where... Okay, you have to have Waterfall. Where to find TM23 Iron Tail. And it's, I'm presuming it's in Meteor Falls somewhere. You go up here, you go around a little bit. And then what? Oh, it would just be right there? Okay, cool. I like that. That's pretty straightforward. Okay, I guess I gotta beat the 8th gym before I get Iron Tail for this guy. Jeez, that's kind of lame. To be honest. But look, at least I know how to get it. Which is good. It's preferable to me not knowing how to get it. Alright. Yeah, Archie is waiting for me down here. There we go. This is the funny part where each of the respective team leaders discover that they like picked the wrong orbs to use, which is funny. Behold, he says. Will Hyper Beam just kill? God damn it, I missed. Okay, there we go. Cool. And with that, you will no longer be in because Crobat will pulverize you. Okay. He only has 3 Pokemon? That's kind of a small team for the boss of Team Aqua, right? With this red orb, I can make Kyogre do some shit. And he flew away. It's raining heavily. What have you wrought? You finally woken Kyogre. What will happen to the world if this downpour continues for all of eternity? Oh yeah, he did some shit to Groudon as well. Okay. Weird music. He's going to Pseudopolis. I am going to, I'll follow suit, I guess. Yeah, okay, they're pissed at each other. Look, it's the opening game cinematic, oh my god. Uh-huh. So they're being all pissy. I'm gonna go... I'm gonna go to, Pacific Log and surf up to the place. What was it, fucking... Not Dragon Spiral Tower. That's from Generation 5. It's this game version. Sky Pillar. There we go. I was gonna say, like, Skybound Tower, just jokingly, but Sky Pillar. Alright, works for me. The door is closed. Alright, spectacular. Presumably I'd have to be in Pseudopolis still. Alright, Steven, where are you? There you are. Wallace. Oh yeah, this is the one thing that I don't think was as cool about Pokemon Emerald as Ruby and Sapphire. Hey Squeaker, what you looking at me for? Yeah? You're yawn? You're very tired, kitty? Or you're a relaxed kitty? Yeah. She's so cute. It's Sky Pillar. Alright, so I guess that's where we're going then. Get me out of here. Cool. I think all I have to do is run up to the top of Sky Pillar and then Rayquaza just like flies away and stuff, right? Go up here and then... Yeah, there he is. There's Wallace. Oh yeah, I was gonna say, the one thing that I think was way cooler about Ruby and Sapphire than in Emerald is that this is all Steven. This part where Wallace is doing this stuff with you, it was originally supposed to be Steven. And it was Steven in Ruby, Sapphire, Emerald. And the reason for that is Wallace here, in Pokemon Emerald, Wallace is the Pokemon League champ. He took Steven's place. And now Steven is like an endgame super boss. But in Ruby and Sapphire, Steven was the Pokemon League champ, and this guy was the 8th gym leader. He actually mentioned that earlier. I think Steven as the League champ is way cooler. He's just so much of a cooler dude. I don't know. I mean, this is alright too. Steven being the super duper trainer is also very cool. Oh yeah, I remember, you actually have to have the Mach Bike to be able to ascend this tower in later iterations. Like, I would have to exchange the Acro Bike if I wanted to come back and get Rayquaza later. But I don't really care about catching legendaries in this playthrough, so... What's up, Rayquaza? He flew away to go have his own tier that's so broken that it has to be above Uber's in 6th gen and onward. I fell down. Ah, yes, you can find pretty high level Pokemon in here as well, which is fun. It's good for level grinding for sure. Now let's go back to Pseudopolis, and I'm gonna... Well, I was gonna say I'm gonna heal up, but I guess we have to watch this cutscene first. They're still mad at each other. Very true. And then... He's coming in for the targeted airstrike. Or, you know, he's coming in to be the referee and be like, alright, round 1, fight. Oh, okay, they just sort of went away. Dang. Nice. Let me go heal, and then I'll talk to the people down there. Water's nice and tranquil again. Yo, what up? And then they realize the error of their ways, and they realize, wait a minute, wanting the world to be mostly land or mostly water is actually fucking stupid. Because, well, first off, the world's already mostly water. But then also such a large-scale alteration of the Earth's surface in either direction would mean the deaths of billions. So they went home to then not be stupid for the most part, you know. Which is respectable. I can respect going home to no longer be stupid. Very cool thing to do. I don't think I'm going to need dive again, because all I intend to do at this point is go up to Meteor Falls, pick up Iron Tail after I've beaten this gym, and then just go and beat the Pokemon League. Although if I do, I can just swap back and forth. It's not like it's a huge deal, because they made HM moves replaceable. So, this gym puzzle is a lot of fun. So if I go down here, yeah, I can't go up there. You have to step on every tile without repeating, but what I like to do is just go down here right away. Fight the trainers. Give me that experience. And you too. All you had was a love disc. I don't want to learn Roar. I will switch to... I'll switch to Maria for the time being. There we go. So now I can go on to the next level, which is a little bit more difficult, but you just have to go around this rock, and then down here, around the other one, and that also works the other way if you want to go right first, and then loop around past the left one. That works too. Oh, actually, now that I'm at this one, I could just do this. There we go. Now we got a bunch of trainers down here. I will fight all of them. And then we'll be good to go. I'll probably want to heal first as well. Before challenging the gym leader. And then I'll do a proper navigation of the gym puzzle. Fight Juan. And move on with my life. Yeah, I'm down now. That's all the PvP for the day. Oh, you're playing PvP? Very cool. I gotta ask, when you play PvP in multiplayer, do you have, like, any, second message in the whole stream? Very true. Well, that was your third message. In Minecraft PvP, do you use the, like, any of the plugins that make it pre 1.9, so there's no swing cooldown? Or do you just use the, modern mechanics, where you have the, like, you swing a sword and you have to wait till the cooldown expires before you can do it again? Because I know there are some servers that actually use like a 0 cooldown plugin for combat. I also prefer to use that most of the time in my survival worlds, because I played Minecraft for so long before the combat update 1.9 that I just got used to that system. Nice. One more trainer. They didn't add fairy type in this game, I remember. Yeah. It's always kind of a 50-50 whether or not they like added certain types to ROM hacks, because a lot of good quality of life ROM hacks will do that. Be like, oh, we added fairy type in this. I use modern even though I understand that 1.9 ruined PvP in Minecraft. I'm doing PvP for that server that I work for. It's a war, and you gotta know your PvP. Yeah, that's true. No, I don't want to cast one system or the other as being necessarily better in PvP. It depends on like which pacing that people prefer. You're doing this practice, okay. World War event in Minecraft. That actually would be kind of fun. I just wonder because I know it's a thing that enough people are pretty divided upon in Minecraft. That like some servers do modern combat, but then some servers are like, oh, we use this plugin to make the combat more like the older versions and stuff like that. Okay. Also, I remember watching, you know, there's one of those, some of those videos, it's like a genre of like every best and worst thing from like each Minecraft update. The base server of MC does that. Hypixel, good example. Yeah, that's right. In fact, that's where I heard it from. You know, my friend and I used to play on Hypixel a lot. They have some cool mini games there. But I was watching one of those videos. It was like the worst thing to come out of every Minecraft update. And I was like, ooh, that could be interesting. I wonder what this guy thinks about given updates. And I didn't even know this was a thing, because I like... Initially, and I still do, really like that there are now shields in Minecraft. I thought that was one of the best things they could have added. But apparently, when they were first added in 1.9 and then a couple versions later, they only blocked 2/3 of the damage that you would get if you held block with it. Which I guess, you know, that makes sense, I think. Because of, like, how cheap it is to make. But then there was, like, an update that changed that and said, oh, actually, shields block 100% of the damage you would have gotten. Which, I mean, that also makes sense if you're really good at holding the shield in front of yourself and then, you know. And it's kind of a big change that I'm surprised that I really didn't notice. I guess that speaks to how little survival Minecraft I've played in those versions. You know? But yeah, that was one of the changes that this guy cited as like the worst change. And to me, I feel like that wasn't necessarily a bad change. It probably had a big impact for like multiplayer and stuff, because he said like, yeah, this slowed down PvP combat a lot, and I was like, okay, yeah, I can see that. For single player, I'm not sure how I feel about it. You know, you could make an argument either way, that like, oh, the game being more or less difficult, you know, the game being more difficult is good, game being less difficult is good, or you know, whichever direction you want to take that. One thing I do remember, though, this is kind of the opposite thing. One of the changes that actually went away that I very specifically remember is phantoms. So when I hate the concept of mob votes. I don't think it's a good idea to put it up to community vote to add mobs into Minecraft. It's a stupid idea. For a couple reasons, but one of the ones that won, and I use the term loosely because it was just like, yeah, I know they're still there. I turn them off on every single world that I make. Because I like to just go out in the nighttime sometimes in Minecraft. I remember when they were first added to the game, I didn't know that they were there, and I assumed it was just like, oh, they might be like a nuisance, they might be flying around like bats, but I don't care that much. So I think it was on a Minecraft realm that myself and some of my friends would play on every now and again in like, I don't know, high school, something like that. High school or early college when we still talked a lot. I would go on this server, and of course we would stay up through the night a lot because in a multiplayer server, everybody has to be in a bed in order to skip the night. And this is why I think phantoms are even more stupid in multiplayer than single player. And phantoms started spawning, and I was like, oh, what's that? And they're like, oh, that's a new mob, phantoms. They come out if you don't sleep, and I was like, wow, that's kind of dumb. And then I found out how much damage they did. They did, like, almost half of my health in a single hit. Because I didn't wear armor sometimes. Like, I wouldn't always wear armor when I went out adventuring. And I was like, wow, these things hit really hard. Is there a way to turn them off? And at the time, I don't think there was. So I just kind of stopped playing Minecraft survival for a little while. Until I found out that there was like a game rule option when you created a world that you could turn off the phantoms, which now I do that every single time. Because I like can't play the game if I don't. Jeez. But apparently, you know, after that update, after the update where they introduced phantoms, they actually had to nerf the damage that they did. Because they did so much that people were like, why did you do this? And to this day, they're apparently still one of the least, like, the most hated mobs in Minecraft. And not hated in the good way, where it's like creepers, people hate that, like, they just get fucked up by creepers all the time, but, like, people understand that, like, oh, it's iconic, it's part of the game. Phantoms don't have any of that going for them, so people just hate them. Myself included. Fucking dive bomb you like going out at night like you're a Palestinian and they're like government of Israel or some shit. I don't know, that was kind of a sloppy analogy, but you get the idea. They're just itching, waiting for an excuse to push that goddamn button. The one that's right here that looks like my channel logo, because it is my channel logo. They also, I do know as well that they drop a thing. I think I remember killing one of them and they like dropped a phantom membrane, the phantoms. And at the time I didn't know what it did and I looked it up. And they're actually really useful for like repairing elytras. But the thing is, I don't use elytras. I never go to the end cities to get all that stuff, because I'm not very interested in that. I don't care about having a shulker box or whatever, right? Like, it's possible I'm misremembering what kind of stuff you can find in end cities, but I don't remember there being anything in an end city that would be super interesting for me. So I found no reason to really, like, go and make an elytra and whatever and fly around and stuff. Because that's not usually how I roll in survival mode. And so I also never saw any real use for having phantoms around. They're useless. They might repair your elytra, but that thing gets fixed with mending as well. Oh, wow, okay, yeah. So I guess a lot of the adventuring that I do in Minecraft then would just be between the overworld and maybe the nether sometimes, you know? Because you can find mending books, and that's super useful for other stuff as well. Like, imagine you put mending on a, like, super souped-up diamond or netherite pickaxe or whatever, and then now you're walking around, you're looking real good, right? Like, mending on an elytra, that's a lot of work for not that much gain. And if I remember right, elytras actually consume your chest plate slot. Like, you can't wear a chest piece and an elytra at the same time. You have to pick one or the other. So if you have an elytra on, you have less armor. Which, you know, it's not great. And, you know, frankly, I'd rather have a chest piece with mending on it than, like, an elytra with mending on it. Because finding, like, a mending book or getting mending in an enchanting table, that's a lot of effort. Like, you gotta go through a lot of stuff just to get that to show up, right? Draw a red X on the opponent, please. The one thing, okay, the one thing I really like from the recent updates, actually, there's a couple things. there's a lot of things from the updates 1.9 and later that are really questionable for me. There are a few things that I really like. One of them is the revamping of villages. I think that was a great change, because now villages are way cooler and more interesting. The one thing I don't like is that they're also more common. So that's like kind of a mixed thing. I wish villages were also still like semi-rare, so like you could go kind of a long ways without really seeing one, right? But that overall I think was a good change, because now villages are much cooler when you do find them. And they have beds there, and it makes it a lot easier to get started and stuff like that. And although I don't use this a lot, the villager economy stuff is really cool as a way of like getting consistent enchantments and things like that. And then the Nether update also was a huge plus for me. I think there are some things I miss about the old Nether. For example, I think the Nether pre 1.16, I believe it was a lot more easy to navigate than the Nether is now. Like, you would have a way easier time finding a Nether fortress because it was so much more barren, you could see for a long time. But now the Nether is way more interesting because there's trees, there's stuff that drops food, there's more generated structures. You could actually survive in the Nether if you really wanted to, which I actually still want to. I think actually after this game, God, I have so many ideas for what I want to do on stream, and a couple of them actually involve Minecraft. One of them being like the Nether survival thing. You know, I want to do that. That was a good change. Another good one was the swimming, whatever update changed swimming and oceans. I think that would have been the join my server? Maybe. Maybe. I could do that. Well, my server. Yeah, I know. Like, even if it's not, like, your server, like, you don't own it, but it's the one that you frequently play on or whatever. It's possible I might. The swimming update, the ocean update, I forget if that was, like, the wild or what. The new biome, that was really cool. You know, fish swimming around in the water, you could actually hit them with a sword if you wanted to. That was actually a lot of fun. It makes it very easy to get food in the early game, so I appreciate that. On one level. And fish also occasionally drop bone meal, which is interesting. Or just, like, bones. That was cool. The water being clear was a super nice change. That whole update was very, very cool. Added a lot of new life into Minecraft. And then, also, not the 1.20 update. What was I, what am I thinking of? There's one more update that I thought was, like, really cool. I think I'm blanking. I might just be blanking on what's going on. But yeah, there have been some good updates in the past few years. Really good stuff. So, I have to go this way. Right, I have to do that. Yes, okay, I figured this out. Nice. Now I can go hang out up here. I'm gonna beat this guy and then I'll end stream. Oh, the pillagers. That was also a good change. Oh no, I remember what I was gonna mention about 1.19. The warden and the like deep dark and the end cities and stuff. I really like that change. There are some people that don't. They say like, oh, the warden doesn't drop anything and it's so hard to kill. That's the point. You're not supposed to be able to kill it. The only reason it actually has a definite number of health is because the developers like couldn't just make it infinite or whatever. It's an entity, so it like has to have a limited amount of health. I like the Warden as just like a force of nature. It's like you're in the deep dark biome, good luck. You have to contend with something that's way scarier than you are, you know? It'll like, as far as I remember, if you have a full durability shield, it'll break through your shield in 2 hits. And then it's like, well, you're on your own, buddy. I think the Deep Dark is also a really cool, eerie environment, and the end, not the end city, the abandoned city, like the underground city, is a really cool, ambient environment. It makes Minecraft feel a lot more like creepy. I'm maxed and he's still lethal. Yeah, and I really appreciate that, like, I really like that there's a mob where that's the point. Which is like, you're not really supposed to be able to kill it like that. You know, where it's just like, you run into this thing, good luck, you're on your own. You know, get out of there if you can. I find myself sometimes kind of, yeah, kind of hoping that I run into a Deep Dark just for the ambient feelings and like the eeriness that I would experience from that. I think it'd be cool to experience that. Because I've seen videos of people like, oh, I killed the Warden and stuff, but that's never as interesting as them just discovering the Deep Dark biome. I think there's a lot there. Kills you in 2-3 hits depending on the attack. Yeah. Oh, wow, okay. Good shit, Sigma. Easy gym battle. Lets me use waterfall. Made it so that I can spawn infinite in wardens in war easy victory. Yeah, true. #1 victory royale. The trick is, how do you get them to not attack your own troops? Unless they are the troops, and you just evacuate all your people from the battlefield. It's like a what is it? Like a bioweapon? I don't know. It's like a bioweapon, but less bad because it doesn't destroy civilization. Because in Minecraft, you respawn. They spawn when someone makes noise next to a specific block, so if others make sound. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's right. And if they like those little sensor things with the weird tentacles coming out of them, you make sound next to those things 3 times, and it'll summon the Warden. Or kill them while I'm just chilling. Yeah, wait. I actually don't understand the aggro of how the Warden works. Will it aggro onto you if you're... I mean, I've seen videos of people, like, summoning it, and it'll just aggro onto whoever. But, like, it will... Usually it'll look for first the person that summoned it, right? I'm gonna fly. Yeah, okay. Because it responds to sound. So if you just stand there, if you're not its primary target and you just stand there, it'll go after somebody else first, I think. And you can just wait there, and it'll like go away eventually, and then you can leave. And that's like the counter resets. If it leaves, that like you have to do the 3 noise sensor things again to summon it. There's Meteor Falls. It's down there somewhere, right? I'm gonna fly up here. Anywho. That's been a fun Minecraft discussion. It's been a bit totally dissonant from what I was talking about the first part of the stream with well, you know, the most horrifying shit of our time, being the Israel-Palestine, war, invasion, conflict, whatever. You know, that's pretty bad. But video games are pretty fun, including this one and also Minecraft. Really enjoying that game lately. Been playing some Tinker's Construct, been playing some custom mod packs that I made, played a little bit of this like scarier Minecraft mod that makes the mobs a little more aggressive, makes night darker and stuff like that. Anyways, those are all, when I say I have a lot of ideas, those are some of those ideas, is playing Minecraft in those like modded contexts on stream. But that's for down the line. I'll get to that when I get to that. And for now, I'm going to stop streaming. I'm going to just hang out for the rest of the day. You might see some segments this week, but I think I want to, this week I want to focus more on editing down that Minecraft compilation of stuff, because there's not that much left to go, and I promised myself that I would get it done by the end of the year, and it's already almost November, and I almost have the last one done. So I'll see you guys on Tuesday, I think. Right? Yeah. Wall is live, I should check. Cody Schwab. /raid Cody Schwab. There we go. What's he doing? Probably playing Melee. That is exactly what he's doing. Oh, he's playing against Zane. Enjoy some high-level Super Smash Bros. Play.